Welcome to another OU Insider Under the Visor Sooners post-game podcast powered by Riverwind Casino. My name is Brendan Drum, Parker Thune. Right across from me, Oklahoma 44, Kent State 0.
Hey, give me props here, Brandon.
You were the only one who picked the shutout. You were the only one.
There we go.
I thought about that on the way home. So like, I was sitting there going, dude, I think we all, and I even told Caden when we were driving, I was like, Travis and I picked 3 points. I am disappointed that Oklahoma didn't push more to score more. That upset me. It probably upset a lot of people that picked Oklahoma to cover as well.
Yeah, I know you're not the only one. Certainly not the only one that I've corresponded with.
I'm not a degenerate or anything.
That shares that perspective.
Yeah, and they had ample opportunity twice.
Yeah,
twice to get safety, and they just didn't, which is fine. I mean, I think they gave up 183 yards total today, something to that extent.
It wasn't quite that much, I don't think.
Was it not? Hold on.
I was keeping track because one of my predictions on pregame radio this morning was that Kent State would not accrue
135.
Would not accrue more than 100 total yards, and were it not for Cortland Guillory giving up that garbage time downfield shot when Kent State was backed up in the shadow there in the end zone, they would have been right around that threshold. But yes, 135 total yards.
That's insane
for Kent State in this football game. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of where you have to start right now with this team. This defense is playing absolutely lights out, Brandon. They have allowed 3 points to Illinois State, 13 to Michigan, 3 to Temple, 17 to Auburn, and then 0 to Kent State. They have allowed a total of 36 points this season.
5 weeks. That's 7 a game. 7.0 something.
It's 7.2. 7.2 is what it is.
Trying to do my math.
7.2 points per game. That's what this defense is surrendering.
Wow.
And they didn't have Jaden Jackson and Dominic Williams today either. Those guys will be back for Texas. Their absences today were purely precautionary, as we discussed on OUinsider.com. And as Brent Venables confirmed after the game, they just decided to hold them out because, well, after all, it's Kent State. But, man, I think there's a lot to be encouraged by in this win. Not a ton that's going to, I think, change your opinion of what Oklahoma is as a football team, but I think there's plenty to be encouraged by, and we'll dive into that, and we'll start to discuss what is suddenly shaping up to be. I don't think many anticipated that the Red River Shootout was going to look like this.
We didn't, but remember, I keep bringing it up.
It was a possibility we talked about.
I brought the possibility up.
It was a possibility we talked about. The possibility that Oklahoma was 5-0, that Texas was 3-2. Would anybody have put money on it?
No.
I don't know. I don't think so. But here we are, man. Longhorns are 3-2 after losing to Florida today in the swamp. It's really just a question now of how much Oklahoma is going to be favored by going into that contest. But before we get rolling here, want to make sure that we acknowledge our sponsors. And, of course, Riverwind Casino is our presenting sponsor here on the Under the Visor podcast. Riverwind has been the OKC area's premier gaming destination for nearly 2 decades now, folks. Almost 3,000 electronic games, table games, bars, and dining options, plus the best live music in the metro. It's no surprise that Riverwind is always a good time. A nod to Jana King, the greatest team to ever clean, and a proud partner of OU Athletics, in addition to us at OU Insider. Jana King offers spotless results and solutions from stadiums to any size business across the country. So check out which of their solutions is best for you or your business by going to janaking.com. That's JANIKING.com. And finally, I got to let you know about Brunt Workwear and their Marin work boots. Choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. If they felt good, they didn't last. And if they lasted, they wrecked your feet. Brunt thought that was BS, so they built tough boots that feel great from day one. No break-in, no sore feet, because people out there doing the real work shouldn't have to choose between comfort and durability. These are no doubt the most comfortable boots I've ever worn, and they felt comfortable right out of the box. No long, painful break in like all those other brands. But they're not just comfortable, they're built to perform. Whether you need waterproof, safety toe, soft toe, pull on, or lace up, they've got options that can handle whatever job site you're walking into. Brunt stands behind what they make, too. You can wear them to work, and if they're not right for you, send them back. Simple as that. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. So they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. Now, for a limited time, our listeners are going to get $10 off at Brunt when you use code OU Insider at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com, use the code OU Insider, and you're good to go. And after you order, they'll ask where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor and tell them it was the OU Insider guys that sent you, I should say. And with that, Brandon, let's dive back into this game. And I want to circle back around to the defense. But I'll tell you, man, and look, it's Kent State. I feel like we're going to say that a lot over the course of the podcast, and that probably doesn't
Yeah.
help matters. I feel like this has been as maligned a 4 touchdown, 0 turnover performance from a quarterback as I have seen or heard of in recent memory. The consensus opinion of Michael Hawkins today amongst the fan base does not seem to be particularly glowing. And I find that odd. Not terribly surprising
It's
because
not.
uh, somebody has to be the whipping boy, if you will. Like
Hmm.
there's somebody on whom the fan base has to pour their frustrations every single week. And honestly, there's not a whole lot to be frustrated about with this football team. They're playing really well in the grand scheme. But Michael Hawkins was 14 for 24 today through the air, 162 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown. It was not a spectacular nor a prolific performance, but man, it feels like he's caught a lot of flack
For
for
no
what I
reason.
thought was a perfectly serviceable performance at minimum. And
Hmm.
I think at times you saw flashes of the guy that Oklahoma believes can be the future of their program at the quarterback position. I'll say this about the way that he played today. He did get a little sidearm happy. It's nice to have those varying arm angles. It's nice to be able to
Hmm.
employ those, but it felt like he got a little too reliant on that sidearm delivery. And it compromises your mechanical integrity as a quarterback. And on several occasions, it caused him to miss receivers, high, low. It wasn't there at times for Michael
Hmm.
Hawkins. The accuracy wasn't there, and I think it was in large part due to the fact that he was slinging it a lot. But I guess the other side of that coin, Brandon, is when you come away from a performance like this from Michael Hawkins, and that is the primary point of concern. That's the primary beef that fans have with the way that he played. Here's what you know about that particular issue. It's fixable, right?
Yeah.
Mechanical issues are fixable. A tendency to drop that arm slot down and go sidearm, that's fixable. You just got to rewire the brain, right?
Yeah.
That's all it takes. And I would imagine there will be an effort to do that amongst the OU staff. They'll want to get Michael Hawkins away from leaning on that sidearm delivery. It's something nice to have in the tool bag, certainly.
Hmm.
He'd like to be able to pull that out when you need it. And there were a couple of throws where he needed that lower release point. And it served him well, and the ball was on target. But saw a little bit too much of it today.
Yeah.
That's probably my primary criticism of Hawkins. But all in all, I didn't have a major beef with the way that he played. I mean,
No.
for the moment, for the occasion, I thought his performance was just what the doctor ordered.
First and foremost, I think look, this is going to sound really harsh when I say this, but it's not. I think it's valid in that I think how the game started kind of put a wool over everybody's eyes. Like the throw that he made that ended up hindering and hurting
Hmm.
Cavantes Lewis. I think I think it caused people to see Mike in a way that is not real. Like that was people, and you could read the comments when I said, "Look, everybody's talking about the brick wall, right? That's what everybody was talking. They wanted to just instantly talk about the brick. I'm like, guys, like you haven't said anything about the. If you really were that concerned about it, people would have been saying something about it, injury or not, leading up beforehand. All you need to do is worry about Keontez Lewis.
Yeah.
That's it, and how he was, and he's good. Like everybody, that's what they know. They're doing extra stuff, uh, tests, but he's good. But that throw, people were making in the comments like that was the worst overthrow I've ever seen. Blah blah blah. It was only the worst because somebody got hurt,
Correct.
and
I mean, he hit
that
him
I
in
think,
stride a little bit out of bounds. That's what it
well, it was about
was.
10 yards out of bounds, but the wind took it a little bit, and you could hear the wind swirling on the mics when the refs would get over. Like it was windy. You were there. It was windy, and I think I think that clouded everybody, right? After that happened, I think people are pointing at Hawk and saying, well, he's the one that threw the ball, and that's why that injury took place outside the brick wall. Um, so there was going to be blame, and I think that rolled over into the rest of his play. People just couldn't look past it.
I
He
have a
played,
photo from today saved to
uh,
my camera roll. I took a photo of the exact moment that that ball hit Keontez Lewis's hands. So I have a very good frame of reference for where it is geographically in
right.
relation to the field of play. That ball's not more than a yard out of bounds. It's not. It's just it's unfortunate what happened to Lewis, but
It
you're right. I
is.
think it kind of set an
It
it
set
kind
a
of set the
tone.
wrong tone.
Yeah.
It set the wrong tone for the fans' perception
Hmm.
of Hawkins.
I thought that
Now,
instantly when it happened. Instantly, I was like, "Oh Lord, everybody's gonna put point at him, and it's not his fault." Like it happens. That stuff happens. It's football, and his overall play. Like there was another play, Parker, that I just got to go back to, and it was a talking point on our board. I know you know what I'm talking about. There was a whole thread about it, and they blamed. He rolls out to his left. His off shoulder. He's right-handed, mind you.
yeah,
Kent is supposed to sit in the zone. He did not sit. Where did Hawk throw it? In the open spot
yeah.
and a little bit away from the defender, the way it was supposed to be thrown. And everybody, it was a 3rd and 13. I do remember the 3rd and 13. And everybody put the blame on Hawk for that. And if you go back and watch, Hawk is following Kent off the field and screaming at him to
Was it Kent or
sit.
I thought it was Ivan Carrion.
It may be okay. It was carry on. You're right. You're right. It was carry on. Sorry, my bad. It was Ivan carry on, but he was yelling at him to sit, stop, and sit. Like I could sit, and I was reading his lips, and he
Yep.
was telling him like you got to sit, dude. Like, well, there was a first down if you just sit. You ran in a zone. I'm throwing you away from the defender in the open area. Just sit, and there was some frustration there. And there was at that point in time, I think he had thrown sidearm a couple of times in a row, and it really pissed. Like you could feel kind of disgruntled in the at least from my perspective. Obviously, I wasn't there. I was at my kid's game, but I was watching it the whole time. I had my headphones, like I had the
Yeah.
AirPod, like I was
Well,
out my
and
own little world.
that play that you're referencing, that came directly on the heels of two misses that were just on Hawk.
Yes,
Like they were just
yeah,
bad throws.
they were bad throws, and that I think led to. That's what I'm saying. There was like you could kind of I could hear the audible grunts
Oh yeah.
from the fans at that point,
Yeah,
and
the natives were getting a little restless. And
yeah.
the third quarter, I think that's when they go back and they watch the tape of this football game, I think the third quarter is going to be just in general a quarter that Michael Hawkins wants back. He
Yep.
had been really good up until that point.
11 for 15 to
11
start
for
the game,
15 in
man.
the first
Yep.
half. Yep. A couple of touchdown passes. Then he only completed 3 of his last 9. So that third quarter, he was a little bit more erratic. And again, it was mostly because he was not operating with ideal mechanics back there.
Yep.
He was just kind of slinging it.
He
Which
was trying to force the issue. You could tell he was like they didn't feel like they put enough points up. And I think he was trying to force the issue a
Here's
little
my
bit.
thing. Here's my thing, though. In an
And that's
overall
okay. He's a
sense,
freshman, sophomore.
yeah.
But yeah,
Here's my
he's
thing. In an
young.
overall sense, what happened today didn't change my opinion of Michael Hawkins,
No,
for better or worse. Like I feel exactly the same way about Michael Hawkins as I did before this football game. And I I don't think it is at all justifiable. And I've seen this take floated. I've had people text me individually and toss this take out there. Well, it doesn't look like Michael Hawkins has a future here. What? What are we talking about? Is that the judgment we're going to make on a day where against Kent State, mind you, he accounted for 4 touchdowns and didn't
yeah,
turn the football over? And
I'm
yeah,
probably those
okay, he
stats,
missed
but
some throws. He did. But it's a different conversation if you're faced with the prospect of Michael Hawkins having to start the rest of the way for Oklahoma. Then, okay, maybe there's some concern that, man, you got to figure some things out and you got to figure some things out quickly. But this is why you have John Mateer in
they
2025,
didn't
right?
show
Like,
anything, Parker.
yeah, like
It
this.
was
Well, and
bland.
yeah, and Michael Hawkins does not need to be the best version of himself right this second.
No,
Again, that is why Oklahoma brought in John Mateer to give Hawkins a year that he didn't, to give him the year, I should say, that he didn't have a season ago. A year to just learn and develop. He got thrown into the fire in the 4th game of his college career last season. And so he has not had the opportunity to just develop for a year. And if all goes according to plan and you get John Mateer back next weekend, this will be the only start that Michael Hawkins makes in 2025. I think this was a valuable experience for him. But
mm-hmm.
again, you're not looking at a guy that has to have it all figured out right now. And so that's not the expectation that I have of Michael Hawkins. I'm not
Right.
operating under the expectation that he's going to have it all figured out. I wasn't of the impression going in that Michael Hawkins was going to be 24 of 24 today. So,
So go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah,
Finish
again,
up.
it doesn't do much to alter the overall opinion of Hawkins for me. I believe that guy has a tremendous future ahead of him at the University of Oklahoma. And
Mm-hmm.
fortunately, again, as long as everything goes according to plan, he's going to get the opportunity to develop at a more gradual pace. And he's not going to have to be the best version of himself as a true sophomore here in 2025. He's going to be allowed some leeway to continue to improve, to continue to refine his game, to continue to get that seasoning and that polish via the coaching of Ben Arbuckle and John Kusieski. And then post Mateer, all right, let's see what it looks like.
So I just want people to understand this. Against Illinois State, yes, John Mateer threw for almost 400 yards. He also threw 13 more times, and he completed, I believe, 16 more passes. But I mean, the point of it is that they both had 4 touchdowns total, right? That was against a Division I AA program, Parker. That was game one. And everybody was worried about the offense outside of Mateer's throwing. Everybody was sitting there going, it just didn't look right, It just didn't look smooth. All that. I thought, there was some people forget because Oklahoma has looked so good since then.
Yeah.
That game one, there was some because it was so bland. It was a bland game plan. It was very chalk, very base offense, and that's what they came into this with was a very base offense. I'll tell you this much: I've talked to plenty of people over the last 48 hours about coming into this game and next game. No, Oklahoma wasn't looking ahead. However, if you want to act like they weren't working on some of the Texas stuff this week, you're blind. And if you don't think that's not going to cause some, I don't, maybe some timing issues, maybe some cohesive issues and stuff like because you've got 2 game plans rolling at once, right? And that's just kind of how it had to work. They're showing things, and unbeknownst probably to the players, they're showing things of what they're going to see later on against Texas and stuff like that, and maybe not Kent State. So you're working on plays during the week that you're not running in the game, right?
Mm.
So a lot of that has anybody that's played football and you have a big opponent coming up after an opponent that isn't so big, and putting it nicely. Um, the coaches will throw things out there during that week that will make you think you're working on something that maybe Kent State did, but it was Texas that you were working on, in South Carolina, and on down. They were running a lot of really base thing. There wasn't a lot of shifts. There wasn't a lot of motion. There wasn't a lot of there Parker. There wasn't a lot of crazy route combinations. It was bland. I was watching. I would go back and watch after every play. I would go back and watch the replay just to see what it looked like. And I was
Mhm.
like, this is like middle school crap, man. Like in high school crap. Like it wasn't. They were. It was bases all get out. And I'm telling you, if you ran the full playbook with Hawkins would look better.
Yeah.
He was also without one of the better wide receivers. I know people don't want to use that as excuse, but Keontez Lewis, I went back and looked at game one. He had 100 and plus yards receiving,
Yeah.
bro. Like
119 yards and 2 touchdowns.
he's a good
Now,
player. Like
now, Michael Hawkins did have Giovanni Gibson
he
today.
did. He looked
Giovanni
good.
Gibson made his return, and he made
First
about
catch
as
was a
he made it
little
about as
acrobatic.
athletic of a 5 yard catch as you can imagine a kid making. So good on him. Was that his only? I think that was his only catch
Let me
today.
look. I'll look. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact,
I believe that was the only
I
reception
think you are
made.
correct. Actually,
But getting
you are
that guy back
correct.
is getting that
Yep.
guy back is going to be big for Oklahoma going into Texas week, especially if and I can't really say it's a certainty right now, even though it felt like a certainty when he was down for 10 minutes. If Keontez Lewis misses time, the return of Giovanni Gibson and the significance therein is magnified. But it's a, it's a genuine if because I mean we all figured Keontez Lewis was going to miss the Auburn game after he took that shot against Temple, and nope, he was ready to go the next week.
He has
But
had
again,
some
if
bad luck, bro. Goodness
he's tough as
gracious.
nails
He
apparently
is.
because you see a guy down 10 minutes getting stretchered off, you'd figure okay he's not seeing the field for a while. But the word after the game was, yeah, Keontez is fine. All the initial tests are negative, looks like he's going to be all right. And so that's that. So maybe he's right back out there on the field against Texas next
Yeah,
weekend. We'll have to follow his injury designation throughout the week. But the Sooners did get Jaydn Ott going today. How about that?
they did. I had an inkling that that was going to happen.
I think we
Uh,
all did. It was just a
yeah,
question of what it was going to look like. Now,
yeah.
again, it wasn't spectacular. It wasn't explosive necessarily,
No,
but he looked like a player, man. He
he's
looked
going to get a lot more, folks. Let's just say I had a conversation with somebody after the game today on my 5 hour drive back from Kansas City. Ugh. Um, and expect to see zero out there quite a bit from here on out,
it
Parker.
wasn't me that he had the conversation with.
It was not Parker.
Wasn't
It was not Parker. Yeah,
um
just expect it. Expect it. Expect it. They are giddy about what they have potentially in him.
yeah,
And,
well
and
you saw the flashes today for the
yeah.
for really the first time. Like all
Hmm.
that you'd seen of Jaydn Ott to this point was stuff that was pretty discouraging and ho hum and mundane.
You want me to
You
quote
saw some
something?
flashes today.
I'll give you a quote that I was told tonight.
Okay.
Them quote them verbatim, actually. And they said, fall camp rolled around the first two or three practices. Jaydn Ott looked like, and I quote, a damn NFL All Pro in the first two or three practices. And then they said somewhere down, and I'm quoting verbatim, somewhere down the line in between practice 3 and practice 20, he just got lost and couldn't figure it out. And there was some blame on the shoulder, but they said, and I'm quoting them, that can't be the main cause. There was more to it. It was mental, it was physical, it was everything. End quote. And basically, when they came back to that quote, they said he just kind of thought that he was, and this was just their opinion, by the mind you, thought that he just had the thing wrapped up, I think. And there was some frustration when he was getting put in rotation and all that type of stuff. And then all of a sudden, the last 2 weeks, the Jaydn Ott they saw the first 2 or 3 practices showed up and he has not left. And they think he has a chance to be special.
Well, assuming he doesn't leave,
Yep.
that'll be a
Not physically, like
valuable.
mentally
Yeah. Oh
is
no,
what
no,
they're
no,
talking about.
obviously,
Yeah.
yeah. That'll be a valuable addition, a
Yep.
valuable, a valuable dimension in Oklahoma's backfield picture. Which I mean, Torrey Blaylock looked good again today. 15 carries, 78 yards. Um, Taylor Tatum no longer exists. I think that is the only.
Is he in the program still?
No, he's
No, I know, I'm joking,
he
but
is.
like
I and we joke about him not existing. He definitely does exist. I saw him out
kind
there
of like
on the
Lolo
field.
Hea.
He was going through warm-ups. No, like Lolo Hea, he may not exist. I genuinely don't know if that guy exists. That might be, I don't know, the NIL version of a shell company. I still have yet to receive visual.
Caribbean Shell Company.
Yes, except it's Ricky Lolo Hea. Yeah. That
Uh,
was their the joke is that was their way to get an extra $100,000 for the Jaydn Ott deal. Yeah, we got this defensive tackle named Ricky Lolohea. We need 100K for him. He doesn't exist.
yeah.
I
People, he really
genuinely
exists. We just haven't seen him.
well, apparently he exists. Yes, still have not
Allegedly.
seen him. We have seen
Allegedly.
Taylor Tatum,
Yeah.
but he is completely absent from the game plan at running back. And did Xavier Robinson touch the field
He
today?
did not. So
Javante Barnes didn't. We didn't see a
yeah.
single Javante Barnes snap.
I'll tell you, the source I talked to tonight didn't even bring up. They brought up X, but they didn't bring up Javante. It was really strange. Um, they said that he just kind of got lost in the shuffle in the fact that they were trying to get Blaylock. Oklahoma was trying to get Blaylock and Ott going, and to get those two in rhythm,
Yeah.
particularly because they feel like they need them as the SEC season rolls on. They said
Blaylock
it
was
just,
still in that game like late in the fourth quarter.
yeah, though they were trying to get rid. They were just trying to. Oklahoma was trying to. Obviously, we're talking about DeMarco Murray when you say Oklahoma because he's the running back coach, but they were trying to get him in rhythm. Like they needed them to continue to grow and get reps, in-game reps, from what I was told. So, like, yeah, I think that was kind of the game plan. And they said you will probably see X more down the line, but just couldn't make it work
Yeah,
today. And this is just one person's opinion, but it's a valid one, I think.
sure.
So
Caden Helms found the end zone. Come on now.
yeah, that was
My
really
fellow
cool, by the way.
Nebraskan.
Yeah, that was really cool.
First catch of the season for him coming off that broken hand.
You kind of expect him. How many catches did Kanak have today? Did he not have one at
He
all?
caught two passes.
He caught two
And I believe that was it. But
for
Brent
21
Venables,
yards.
yeah,
Ugh.
Brent Venables heaped a lot of praise upon Caden Helms in his post-game presser and said what impresses him the most about Caden Helms is his ability to block. And I quote, put his face on somebody.
That's been
There's
talked about by multiple people. I'm glad Brent Venables put that publicly, actually.
and if that's what Caden Helms is good at, if that's his calling card in Brent Venables' mind, he's going to continue to play
Hmm.
because Jaron Kanik is still struggling as a blocker. You saw
He
that at
is.
times
Oh my
today.
God, the Dion Burks one was just a freaking blasphemy
Yeah,
of
and
blocks,
that was
dude.
exactly the play that came to mind where he just kind of
Oh,
olays the guy and Dion Burks gets buried in the backfield for a 6-yard loss.
But Kanek turned and yelled at Burks to go inside. Did you see that?
I did
That
not.
was hilarious, by the way. I was sitting there going, brother, it wouldn't matter where he went. You just like said, go ahead and go past me. Have at my wide receiver. Please take your free shot. This is your one chance. Or two or three, depending on how I feel about blocking later on. It was bad. It was bad.
There will be a role for Caden Helms if he can block effectively
Yeah.
and emphatically.
Yeah, he first props for everything that he's gone through over the last few years, and if anybody deserves to have a touchdown catch as your first catch of the season when you come back, it's Caden Helms. So that was really cool. And I was about when you first brought him up, I was sitting here thinking, and I thought about this when he caught the touchdown pass. I was like, it's going to be interesting to see how much less Kanik catches the ball now that Helms is healthy, because during fall camp, you heard so much about how well Caden Helms was playing, the
Well, and
plays that he was making.
that was the talk of kind of the whole offseason was that Caden Helms is the most well-rounded tight
Yeah.
end in that group. Not necessarily the best at any one thing, but easily the most well-rounded in terms of just doing everything that is required of the tight end position
Mm-hmm.
effectively. And so if he remains Oklahoma's best all-around tight end, you really wouldn't imagine a broken hand would change that.
Yeah.
Or I should say at this point, a healed broken hand. Then again, that's a guy that you're going to continue to see out there in meaningful situations at tight end. Now, I still think, Jaron Kanek has just done too much as a
Yeah, he's
pass
awesome.
catcher
Mm-hmm.
to lose the starting role. I don't think that's an immediate jeopardy, but you could see Kanek start to cede some snaps, especially in certain down and distance scenarios to Caden
The
Helms.
the tight end room, just on his face, like when you look at it from just a strictly athletic standpoint, is awesome. Kanek, Helms, and I know you got Kent, right? You got,
Will
is it
Huggins.
Will Huggins and McIntyre. And McIntyre's a freak athlete too, by the way.
He is. He's just hurt.
Yeah. But then on down the line, there's this little old freshman that everybody thinks is going to end up being pretty damn good at some point, named Trinae Washington, that played corner in high school at 6'4", 220 pounds. Um, just those three alone, if you just from an athletic standpoint, absolute freak sparker. Caden Helms is a freak athlete. I'm excited to see if they go, you know, two tight ends, but have them flexed out and just have a heyday on some people because they're both fast. They're both big, fast, and can catch the ball, and they're athletes.
Yeah, well, I mean,
There's
Kanik is one of those guys that can genuinely, legitimately function as a wide receiver.
He can,
I
correct.
mean, because that's
I think
and
Helms can too. By the
when
way,
I wrote that feature story on Kanik at OUinsider.com last week, in talking with Kevin Flaherty, that was one thing he mentioned is that there's a lot of Kerry Meyer, and that's a name that some may remember, some may
from
not. But there's a
Kansas,
lot of Kerry Meyer in Kanik's game, and Kerry Meyer was just basically a big jumbo slot receiver at
he was so
Kansas
good.
in the late 2000s on some of Mangino's best teams, and certainly on Mangino's absolute best team there in
Mm-hmm.
2007 at Kansas. So Kanik is a guy that has the sheer athleticism and speed to function as a wide receiver, even though
Mm-hmm.
he is the size of a tight end. So there's a lot of flexibility that's afforded to you as an offense when you have a couple of guys like that in Kanik and Helms with legitimately plus athleticism at their respective sizes and weights.
You brought up Kerry Meyer, and I instantly, OU fans, their brain just went to Carson Meyer, like
Ah,
instantly.
Carson Meyer.
Like, Kanik is not like Carson Meyer, folks. Carson Meyer was just a big, bumbling, stumbling, tall receiver that could block. That's what he was.
He was an H back, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the epitome of the kind of, you know, Ripkowski was that's probably my favorite H back of all time, by the way. Aaron Ripkowski was a dog. But um yeah, Carson Meyer was more in that vein of you could line him up at fullback, kind of do it. He just wasn't gonna Ripkowski was an athlete playing fullback. You know what? I would like if you put and it's a stupid conversation, but if you put Kanik probably back in that 2014, he would be Ripkowski. That's how Bob Stoops would use him.
Oh man.
There's a lot of comparisons there to me. I feel like there's some kind of parallels there. So defensively, we've been talking about the offense, but defensively, well, you know what?
They broke the turnover drought,
They
Brandon.
did, but before we do that, screw that. We have to talk about the offensive line. If we don't talk about the offensive line, people are going to be pissed.
That's
If you want
fair.
the one negative part about today, I could point to three guys and say they had the worst game of their season.
Let me guess.
Go ahead.
Derek Simmons,
One,
Fabeshi Wiwu,
two.
and I don't know. Those were the two that stood out to me. Who's the third?
Yeah, I don't think Fasusi had a great day.
Really?
Yeah. I watched him get beat a couple of times, and not so much to the point where his guy caused the sack or got the sack, but his guy is the one that caused Hawkins to have to flush somewhere and go into somebody else.
Gotcha.
But there was a lot that you talk about Simmons and Fabechi, multiple plays where you'd watch them and they didn't touch a soul.
Yeah.
Just not a great day for them. And they're not bad players. I just don't, they just didn't have a good day. And if I'm Texas, I'm watching those stunts that Kent State did. And I'm like, yeah, we're going
Yeah.
to do
And
that.
Jake Michael mentioned that after the game when we talked to him. He said, man, they were coming with some exotic looks and we did not handle them the way we needed to handle them.
No, it was
And
bad.
trust me, you think exotic looks from Kent State are scary? Wait till Colin Simmons is the one pulling those exotic rush packages.
Yeah. Is it, what's the DC? It's
Pete Kwiatkowski.
Pete Kwiatkowski. Yeah. He's known for that. Like just crazy exotic. Him and BV are like two of the most exotic blitzing DCs there are in college football. I would say, oh my gosh, used to be Duke's head coach.
Manny Diaz.
Manny Diaz is probably up there with him, but
Man, that's going to be the great equalizer next week is the play of Oklahoma's offensive line. Because if Oklahoma's
yep.
offensive line plays well, they should, based on what we've seen of these two teams, win that game handily. If Oklahoma's offensive line does not play well, all bets are off.
I think some people would point to Hawk being the other part of the equalizer, just in their opinion. I don't know that I believe that at all, but I think some OU fans do. But I agree with you on the offensive line. I think it's key. They have to get. They did better run blocking today than I think they've done all season. Would you agree with that? As far as just straight run blocking,
They run blocked well enough.
it just yeah. I think that when I say better, they were more consistent. Um, I mean, they had obviously. I'm looking at it. Torrey Blaylock averaged 5 yards a carry. Um, Jaydn Ott 4.5, which if you can average, to me, this is how it should go. If you average four or above, that means you're getting a first down every three carries, which essentially is you're never getting to fourth down with that Parker. And so that to me is decent. 4.5, 5.2 is pretty decent average. Um, it wasn't great, but I just think they were more consistent on the offensive line as far as run blocking goes. It could be better, folks. It could always be better. I think that goes without saying, but I thought it was more consistent. I thought, ironically, it was like flipped today, Parker. Usually pass blocking's been OU's strength this year. 'Twas not the strength today. It was the opposite. Do you think that has to do with, I'm just spitballing here a little bit. One, Matera understands the offense a little bit more, obviously being year three for him. So he's quicker to get and know exactly where the ball needs to go. Do you think there's some validity to that? Maybe Hawk held the ball a little too long sometimes. I'm just asking. I don't know that I believe that. I'm asking
I
because there's.
I don't know.
I
I
thought there
didn't
was
get the
once or twice that I thought he did, but I don't. I can't. I
I
can't
didn't get the
say that it was
impression today.
consistently.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't get the impression today that Michael Hawkins was making a standard practice
I agree with that. Yeah.
of holding the ball too long. It wasn't something that was repeatedly an issue. Might have happened once or twice off the
Yep.
dome, but didn't something. It wasn't something that happened with regularity.
I was just asking what your opinion was. Yeah. That's kind of where see it. I didn't think it was, that's what I was saying. I don't think it was anything I thought was just like, I couldn't give an opinion of like, yeah, that's what it, because I remember like maybe one, two, three plays where I was like, dude, he held it a little too long on that one. Um, but outside of that, I just thought those stunts were just causing problems, and they got to get that fixed, man. Like that's if Kent State, that's such a bad look. That's such a bad look. Like the offensive line's better than that. They are. They're better than that. And I know people get mad at with the offensive line, but overall this year, you're not 5-0 if the offensive line is not playing good. Not against Auburn, not against Michigan. Those are two really good defensive fronts. You just, that's just the reality.
Yeah,
People
and
just expect that Joe Moore offensive line every year now.
the bar was set high once
It was
upon a
set
time.
high. That run of 2014 to 2020 was pretty epic with offensive. Maybe I guess 2022 actually to 2022 was pretty epic, and then we have it 23 and 24, and now 25. It just hasn't been the same. But defensively, David Stone set the tone. That rhymed. Um, to start the game, he is awesome and playing awesome.
He is
Like,
such a different dude than he was in
holy
2024.
crap. So good. He's so good. This is the dude everybody thought Oklahoma was getting last year. It just took a year.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just scratching the
He's
surface.
he's starting to look like that 5-star.
It's
He is.
scary for opposing teams, naturally. The play that kind of set to me was our Mason Thomas. By the way, talk about redemption for Grayson Halton.
Yep, Grayson Alden was oh so close to getting that
They
0
got a
yard pick
two.
six against Temple.
Yeah.
Got his scoop and score TD today. And Jaydn Hardy had a pick, the second
Yeah.
of his OU career. Good on
Yeah.
Jaydn Hardy. Um, so Oklahoma was +2 in the turnover margin today. First time they've won the turnover battle this year because it's the first time they've forced a turnover this year.
Mhm.
They forced two of them.
That's so crazy to think. Just crazy.
Man, the one thing that makes me a little bit skeptical, if there's anything that worries me going into next week, it is the cornerback play. Because I there are still too many vulnerabilities in that department in my mind. And Gentry Williams has been solid.
But they
Um,
set him a lot of the day.
yeah, he wasn't on the field a ton today.
They did that a
Cortland
lot, though,
Guillory,
with several guys.
Cortland Guillory looks like a freshman at times.
Hmm.
He looks like a freshman at times, and that could be problematic as you get deeper and deeper into SEC play. Because if your freshman moment consists of letting a receiver get behind you,
Yeah.
well, guess what? It might not have burned you today against Kent State receivers and Kent State quarterbacks, but you go up against SEC receivers and SEC quarterbacks. An SEC receiver gets a step on you, he's keeping a step on you. And an SEC quarterback gets a receiver open downfield, he's hitting that receiver open downfield. And so man, that's the one thing that I felt like I saw a little bit too much of today is receivers getting a step beyond Oklahoma cornerbacks.
Do I mean, is there a I can't believe I'm even going to ask this question. Is there a point where they just go, okay, we're just going to stick with Gentry and Eli Bowen?
I I think that's your safest option. I mean, they have the largest body of work, those two.
Hmm.
They have the lengthiest resumes to make you believe, okay, they can hold their own.
Yeah.
And, Cortland Guillory obviously has played really, really good football at times thus far in 2025. Davon Jordan has had some really, really good reps thus far
Hmm.
in 2025. But both of those guys are still young. They're more prone to error. And again, if the error in question is letting a guy get behind you, that's not an error that you can afford to commit
Yeah.
the rest of the way.
It's they've got to figure that out just because granted Texas has struggled. Um you talk about the equalizer. OU fans think OU's offensive line is bad. You should go check out Texas's this year.
It is the biggest mismatch in next week's game, at least on paper.
It's
The
yeah, paper.
Oklahoma defensive line versus the Texas offensive line.
It's
It
flipped
is
from last year.
it is a complete mismatch. At least that's what it looks like. Texas's offensive line is going to have to play the best game that they have played all season by a country mile next
Yep.
week.
And
Otherwise, they're just going to get absolutely dissected by that Oklahoma pass rush.
you know dang well that BV is holding back some crazy things for old Archie Poo. He's it's a and that's kind of the thing on like I was reading the Texas boards
As one
and
does.
yeah, well, let's check out what they were saying after the loss today and they were like, guys, you understand that Florida, who's had like 4 or 5 sacks, I believe, the whole season, right? Had 5 sacks on Arch today. And now they have to go up against Oklahoma, who's had 16 sacks in the last 2 weeks, the last 2 games, and leads college football in sacks total. And on top of that, they lead the nation in TFLs. And on top of that, they're probably going to be the number one overall defense in the country, scoring and total defense. When they roll into Dallas in the Cotton Bowl, I mean, their fans are just going, this is scary. And it's so true. The one thing I will say is that, yes, Texas's defense is good, but there's been some chinks in the armor, man. Florida really showed and shined a light on some major issues there, Parker. And I know that's like we have all week to talk about it, but I'm just saying, like, just from what we saw today, if you're an Oklahoma fan, you have to be going, holy crap, this could be just utter redemption for last season's game. And mind you, remember last season, before the bottom fell out in the first half, 2 minutes left to go in the first half. Oklahoma has the ball down 7-3. And then they turn the ball over twice, and the rest is history. They're down 21-3 at half. That's how quickly it changed in a 2 minute span that it just changed that quickly. So, if Oklahoma can be that ready with that big of a mismatch last year and compete the way that they did in the first half, to me, it says Oklahoma is going to be more than ready this next Saturday, and they're the better team. They're the better team, Parker. How crazy is that to say right now? Right now.
They're definitely the better team on paper.
Yeah, but Texas was ranked number 1 going into the season, Parker.
Yep. Oklahoma's definitely the better team on paper. I'm excited to start unpacking this
Oh
matchup
yeah,
throughout the week ahead. I
it's gonna be
just
fun.
I don't don't get riding too high if you're an Oklahoma fan.
Yeah,
Not yet.
I agree with that.
Because just as Brent Venables, I would imagine, has some wrinkles that he hasn't deployed thus far in 2025, I would say the same is true of Steve Sarkisian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is never a game where you want to get too caught up in the prisoner of the moment type of mindset. Because, yes, right now, Oklahoma's riding high. Yes, right now, Texas is kind of reeling a little bit. We've seen enough of these games over the years to know that it typically brings out the best in
Mm-hmm.
both of these programs. There aren't without a few exceptions over the years where it's just been thoroughly one sided. But especially over the last decade or so, I mean, with the exception of those two blowouts in 2022 and 2024, in which Oklahoma had the extenuating circumstances of injuries that compromised really everything
Mm.
for them on the offensive side of the football. It's been a one possession game every year.
Yep. Yeah,
And I think it's going to be another one possession game next week.
you do.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about it just yet, but I'm excited to really dive into it this week. And there's going to be I'm also excited about all the content we have coming on this YouTube channel and on our board this week. So make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel and the podcasting audio side. We're on big weeks. We do a lot of both, so we're going to be bringing a lot of it to the audio side as well, just because we don't want y'all to miss out on it. It's going to be fun. This whole week is going to be fun. We got special guests. We have extra content coming for you guys. It's OU Texas, and you can probably expect it throughout the rest of the season. For us to have a lot of content because OU's going to be playing ranked matchups the rest of the way. So it's a big game after big game after big game. And so make sure you're subscribed here. Make sure you're subscribed on our podcasting platform, whatever you listen to us on. YouTube, obviously. The more you subscribe, the better it is for us because it allows us to see what you all like, what you don't like. And obviously, it allows us to continue to bring you content for free as well on this side of the spectrum of our content. So if you're not on there, make sure you go to ouinsider.com. This week's going to be awesome. We got a lot of recruiting stuff coming for you, a lot of comparison of like OU Texas battles going in 26, 27 classes, 28 classes, break down where things stand with these recruits. Got class predictions coming up this next week for 2027. I got my initial early 27 class predictions coming up this next week. Parker's got a bunch. Jesse's got a bunch of content. We've all got a bunch of content going over there. So go to ouinsider.com. You click that green button, boom. It'll send you to a page, and it'll send you to a page that also offers for you to get the athletic for a whole year complimentary on On3, complimentary from On3 and ouinsider.com. If you're a teacher, if you're a college student, if you're a active duty military, email us ouinsider@rivals.com. Again, email us from your .edu if you're college, from your teacher's account, from your school account, and from your active duty military account from to ouinsider@rivals.com. We will send you a promo code to make sure you get OU Insider for $1 a month for 3 months. So basically you'll get 3 months for $3. And it's worth it. It's amazing. It'll get you all the way through the National Signing Day, SEC Championship, which Oklahoma looks like they have a chance to play for right now. Playoffs, which Oklahoma looks like they have a chance to play for right now. Like you'll get all the way up to that point if you go over to OU Insider or go and email us at ouinsider@rivals.com from your .edu, from your teacher's account, from your active duty military account. Again, or if you're not, just go to ouinsider.com, click that green button. Like I said, sign up. We'd love to have you join the thousands and thousands of OU fans already on there with it. Our board is hopping right now. It is fun, fun, fun. Lots of OU fans over there. And we got daily content. All right, Parker, that's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor. Sooners post-game podcast. Oklahoma 44, Kent State nothing. Big goose egg, Oklahoma with their first shutout of the season. They are 5-0 heading into the Red River rivalry.
Before we sign off,
go for it.
Cursory shout out to Tate Sandell and Grayson Miller. Those
Dogs.
dudes delivered on special teams today.
Yeah. And Satania with his returns. He's going to break one at some point.
He will.
He's going to break one at some point.
He will. It'll
55 yard. What he had Sandell had a 49, 55, and a 42. Right.
That 55 was a career long.
It was crazy.
And he's 9 for his last 9 after missing his first attempt.
And then Grayson Miller,
so he's been
a half-yard line. That was awesome, by the way.
Grayson Miller.
The coffin corner.
Man.
The coffin
absolute
corner.
Assassin.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Love that dude.
All right. That's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor. Sooners post-game podcast. Oklahoma 44, Kent State 0, Red River, OU Texas is next week. Stay tuned right here on the podcast over on OUinsider.com. For Parker Thune, my name's Brandon Drum. You guys have a blessed day.